is smiling in the back too.
Hey everyone. Hello, happy Sunday to all of you. Thank you for being here with us every single Sunday for TokiTV. Let's do some quick check-ins. Stephanie and Kay, I'm going to go in order of how I see you. Stephanie and Casey, how are you?
We are good on this sunny Sunday in Minnesota. Happy to be here.
Hey, Deb Cruz. the muted but powerful Deb Cruz. Howard, how are you?
Doing well, thanks, and very happy to be here and thankful for everyone being here with me.
Christina, where and how are you?
I am living the dream here in San Juan Island, so I am awesome and super happy to be here too.
Awesome. Deborah?
Hi, all. I'm just so happy to be here, just waiting for that next miracle. Come on, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut.
Miracle, that's the key word today. Ma, how are you?
Oh, good to hear, thanks. And yeah, she is a miracle. Yeah.
Awesome. And Alejandro?
I'm happy to be here. So I'm waiting for the miracle too. I'm waiting for the miracle.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just want to check in and see what everyone's wearing today. Can we do a quick check to see? Okay. Let's see what we got. TokiTV shirts now too.
I didn't see Howard. Howard was wearing Howard.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. He was. Same to me.
We did it. We finally did it. We're all wearing our stuff on Wednesday. Awesome. Gosh, guys, there's a lot going on today, and there's I was talking to Howard this week, and just with the news, there's some news stuff coming on. There's some articles, and it's kind of a downer a little bit during the week, but we know better, and so we're just going to kind of talk about what that process actually looks like. What are the concerns? How these concerns are already being answered, and of course, we're going to rely on Howard because he is our professor. Let me put him in the middle. But let's get ourselves centered real quick. You guys mind if we do that?
Nope.
No, we're good.
It's okay.
Go good.
So like something we do on Thursday is we all do three deep breaths in, deep breaths out on our own. We sound like a bunch of orcas. So those of you at home, go ahead and do that as well. So just 3 deep breaths. Ready? Go for it. Dogs are doing theirs as well. Let's do this together. And like Alejandro will warn you to breathe at your own pace, but as slow as you can, breathe in.
We don't have insurance. Yeah, so we don't have insurance. So if something happened to you, you should be covered by your family. Just it's at your own risk. I'm sorry.
So we're going to breathe in if you can to the count of 5 or 7. We're going to hold for 3 and then release for 5 to 7 all together. So ready? When you breathe in, let's breathe in peace. Hold. Breathe out love. You can visualize Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut in front of you. It's easy to do. Breathe in peace. Hold. Breathe out love. And this one as slow as you can. Breathe in peace. Hold. Breathe out love. All right. So anytime you're feeling anxious or just anything, that's a good way to do it. Just breathing in for 7 if you can, holding for 3, and then breathing out for 7, and that'll just slow everything down, bring things into perspective. So Howard, how does it feel for us to rely on you all the time?
Well, if I've got a clue what we're talking about, I'm happy about it. But, this is a questionable case of whether I really have any good clues, but I'll do my best.
All right.
Anyway, do you want to frame the question?
Sure. So one of the big things I think that came out that we don't want to ignore is there was an article in, I think it was Cascadia, and then there was a Seattle news segment as well. I think it was 13, channel 13, and everything's good, right? Like talking about all this good stuff, and she's ready and she's healthy, and then there was this like, well, we don't know that it can happen in that time by one of the agencies, and so kind of the way I see it is I can see it taking a really long time when you like go do one thing, come back for a response, then go respond to something else that needs to be done, and then bring that back, and then the next thing. But the way I see it is there's this baseball field and the bases are already loaded. People aren't even on the field yet, but the bases are loaded. And that's just my assumption. But I kind of wanted to check in with you, Howard. What are you thinking about the dates that were being projected on that news cast?
Well, everybody wants to know, and I want to know, what is there a date certain? What is the realistic time frame? What are we looking at in terms of the obstacles in the way, the permitting processes that have to be done? And so this is all really a brand new question for these people. So if we try to, engage our empathy and see the issue from their point of view as department heads, as permitting agents, and those are the ones that have been in the news saying a year and a half, 2 years. And I see that as the sort of the natural response. They don't want to be pressured. And they see all of this coming at them from all different directions, from above, from below, from the public, from the media, from friends of Toki. And everyone is asking them to expedite the permitting process and get this done. And they don't know what they're in for. They don't really know the particulars. They don't know who are the experts, who they can rely on. And of course, there are 1,000 different opinions about every question. So they're up in the air about what they're dealing with here. So they're just sort of dimly viewing the landscape that's ahead of them to begin to make those decisions. And so they're putting it off to, try to put off the pressure on them and seeing it taking many, many months. But I think it's all going to start to crystallize here pretty soon. And the primary key fact in all of this that is also brand new I mean, within the last week or two, that it has been clear by the veterinarians that she is ready. She is, uh, you know, she's eager. I mean, she is working out. She is. I think she'll just swim right into that stretcher and be. You know, she'll understand what the process is, start to finish, and be a part of it. She'll cooperate and be, smiling in her own way the whole time. So that part is also brand new to people. But there's all these lingering concerns. And of course, you have to consider there's been 50 years of constant drumbeat propaganda put out with basically no other opinions until Blackfish came along. That definitely put up a counterpoint. But until then, they saturated the public, including all of those agents. They're part of the public. They're subject to the media, and they've always had doubts, big doubts and fears, alarms about pathogens, um, and a lot of other things that are dealt with, can be dealt with. There's in fact, on that topic of pathogens, that's usually the top of the line, and it's scary. That's a scare story, that she could spread some pathogen that might affect her family and make them sick. And we definitely do not want that to happen. And as I have pointed out, that was dealt with for Keiko. The same fears were raised, and they're very legitimate. And that was dealt with by the USDA appointing a team of 6 veterinarians and pathologists to examine Keiko thoroughly for every known pathogen. It was time consuming and it was expensive, but they cleared him, gave him a clean bill of health. And then 2 veterinarians came from Iceland just to check their work, because they don't want that to happen in Iceland. So he was cleared completely, and he went to Iceland, and of course there was no problem. The same basic thing has to happen with Toki, but now there is a new method, brand new, in fact. It just basically unveiled at a conference that one of the veterinarians, Toki's vets went to, and it's a process of artificial intelligence DNA analysis, so that her blood samples can be fed into the machine, the equipment, and it will check for every known pathogen. It will match the DNA for every known pathogen to find any trace of any pathogen that is of any concern. And they'll be able to know, I mean, basically in a very short time and not a huge expense. So that problem can be dealt with. I don't think these permitting agents that have been on the news are aware of that, for instance. And they are just not, up to speed on the law, because this is totally novel. This is absolutely unprecedented. Nobody has ever seriously considered this question before. So they've got a whole lot of new issues. And what are the laws? What is the ESA? What does it require? What are the definitions? Of a take, for instance. I mean, they are considering it a take if any endangered, listed animal is altered, if their behavior is altered in any way, if they show any effect by anything that is done, such as if they hear Toki calling and they answer that call. That's already a violation of the ESA by the letter of the law. So how do they consider that? This is all new definitions, new considerations. So they're putting it off a long way, but so they can really, really think about this for about a year, before they come up with any even provisional conclusions and decisions about permitting. But I think that these issues are going to begin to clarify, and they're going to understand that it's really not that complicated. It's not alarming. It's not such a violation that all of the laws, the ESA, the MMPA, the hydrology laws about protecting the site, the marine habitat at the site of the sea pen. All of those need to be considered, but they're basically they're not problems. There won't be any environmental devastation. There won't be any major effect, and so those all need to be considered, but they just haven't been yet. So I mean, they've got to do a little homework. They've got to listen up, talk to their peers. There's got to be a kind of a group process go on, and that is being done. And we know that Friends of Toki are definitely informing the people and are sort of building that consensus that it needs to be done. And I think another factor that they have to consider, that everyone has to consider because it's a reality, is that park is run down. It's derelict. It's condemned effectively, and it has to be demolished soon. And the park, the Dolphin Company, wants to rebuild that park. It's 60, 70 years old. I mean, it's really kind of rusty and crumbling and needs to be completely demolished. They can't bring in any equipment and do any of that. They can't start until she leaves. So they are really eager for her to leave, I believe. And I think that will influence the process and expedite everything. So I think it's just, we're hearing these sort of, downer predictions of late in 24 or into 25, before the permitting will be done, just because they want to give themselves lots of leeway. They're not going to impose any deadline on themselves. So they're going to go on the media and say, we got to think about this, basically, and we don't know how long it's going to take for us to come to a conclusion. But I'm confident that the forces that are in play here, that are at work, and many can be seen, like the need for her to leave the aquarium, but many are kind of unseen. I mean, I'm wondering what the ancestors are up to sometimes.
I want to say something about that, Howard, because when I saw that the article, I'm just going to share my conversation with you, and I said, okay, we need to respond to this. Why do you think, and you said several things, but what you said on the phone was powerful, and you said, well, they don't know the ancestors. I was like, absolutely, and perfect, and it was all I needed to hear, because you're right. There are unseen sources, and some unforeseen. I'm sure we're going to see more.
Oh yes,
we aren't aware of. Those of us who are aware of the ancestors' work, that is really true. I want to highlight a couple. You said a lot in the last 10 minutes, and I just want to highlight a couple things. One thing that I heard you say at the beginning was, I don't know if you use this word, but how it landed for me was to kind of have some compassion, right? For the people who are going on camera. This isn't their life for the last 40 years. This isn't their life for the last, 20 years, however long some of us have been advocates. So they're hearing it, and they're also hearing like they're going to have to put their signature on it. And they're like, whoa, so kind of just having a little bit of compassion for them, that this may be, while they may know that it was coming, it's still fairly new, a new conversation for a lot of them. And also, there's no book. They're writing the book, right? So they have to do things by the law, but this isn't spelled out.
No.
Yet. But it will be, right? And so they're writing it out so for future, the steps will have been taken and know how to do that. So I think, yeah, they're writing a book, right? And you have all these experts who are giving the information for the book, but these folks still have to write the book. So they're going to give themselves some time. And to me, that makes total sense. Also on the take, I don't comment too much on that because I think there's a lot of things that mess up their route. I mean, we can get into a deep thing about the dams if we want. How is that not impacting
Right.
their
Absolutely.
routes and what they're doing, right? So there's all that, but I also get that there are things that they have to have an answer for, and they may not know the answer yet, so they're giving themselves wide berth again to figure out the answers to that, and that makes sense. And they're going to come back to my thing with the bases being loaded and the team's not even on the field yet. I think they're going to get into this and see that all these things have been prepared for. All their questions that they have for the laws, they're going to have answers for much quicker than they think, because the people working on this are aware of the laws. They're aware of what they're up against. And, could there be something that maybe they're not aware of that they have to go out and research? Yeah, there could be. I mean, I think Charles said that at Superpod, right? There are things that might come up that weren't expected, but there's so much that have been expected and there's answers for. So just try to stay positive. Like Terry was saying, it can get kind of down, and then, but she'll come here to be reminded, and we'll do our best to keep reminding you guys that there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. And then there was also some question about, what's happening with the Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. I mean, I think you guys saw they brought in some new, or they're bringing in some new exhibit with dinosaurs or something. I don't know. Did you guys hear that? I'll try to find it while we're talking. But so they're still doing, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's still doing what Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's still doing. And we have to remember that she is separate. And what they're doing with her really is Friends of Toki's lead and not Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's lead at this point, as far as taking the steps and the application. So I just want to highlight those couple of things, because you did give a lot of information, as you always do, because you're just this wealth of knowledge, walking instructor, Howard. But yeah, so what stuck out for me is have a little compassion when these things come out for these folks, not get too mad at them. Like, they're probably like, whoa, and we're all like, we've been doing this forever and we know better. So just try to be patient. Just try to be patient while they figure out a lot of what we know. So
there's a lot of new consensus formation going on now to try to understand what's happening among the agents and among the public and among the experts. And they're just, these are new questions for everybody. This has never been real before, and suddenly it is.
And what a great book to write.
Oh, yeah.
For the future, right? For speaking of ancestors, Howard, I'll let you take it from there.
Well, do you want me to talk about the capture commemoration event coming up?
Well, we could do that. I was thinking you had a video.
Yes, well, that is from the 2017 capture commemoration, when the whole contingent from Lummi came, including Chief Sk'aliCh'elh and Nicholas D. Lewis and Uncle Doug James and Jewel James and several other elders and some kids. And it was wonderful. And I have a 6-minute clip that explained that, where Doug explains how the Lummi became aware and got involved in Toki. And I think it's really beautiful, and I think it sort of imparts that vision and that view of how things happen, how things work, and one heart and one mind is at the core of it. It's beautiful. So yeah, if you'd like to play that, up here, this is on the Coopville Wharf, August 8th, 2017. When Nicholas D. Lewis, who was on the council at Lummi brought the resolution that had passed unanimously, declaring their sacred obligation to return their stolen relative from Miami back home. And I was 2 feet off the ground. It was just a beautiful day. So please play it. Let's hear
The tie should be shared by them. If
Nicholas.
Doug can say a few words, and Jewel, you can kind of talk about our plan and how we're going to be working together on this great, amazing cause.
First of all, I'd like to thank our Creator for allowing us to spend the time to come together in unity. That song that was shared down on the dock there is to be of one mind and one heart. One mind and one heart. This young lady that's standing next to me has really been involved with this movement that's taken place also. This is Jennifer. She's contacted me 3 years ago down in Portland. And she's been receiving a lot of visions, a lot of dreams about TokiTV. In the dream, it came to her as Lolita. And she contacted me and put this in motion with me and asking, is there anything that we can do? So, a reality check, you know, I watched this all manifest before our eyes. The dream poster is a very real reality because it's from the dreams this all come. What TokiTV remembers is very real. The songs that she heard from her family are very real to her. That's what's playing in her heart. That's what she's singing in her dreams. Dreams are real. Dreams can reach across vast distances. The spiritual realm is very real. And to acknowledge that part, that these mammals have the capability to reach across distances. They have the power to reach across and put their message out. And the message that came out when I first heard it is she was crying out and crying out, is there anybody out there that can hear me? I want to come home. I want to come home. And that put a lot of things in motion. You know, not only what's been happening here, but we're sharing with you what's been happening through the spiritual realm of all of this. And that part of it is also, it's been very real to witness it manifest before our eyes and to see the physical part of this vision and dream come into a head reality. The domino has been tipped over and you can see it going, running in all directions, touching vast lives that are all reaching out and saying, we need to do something. We need to do something. Be of one heart and one mind. Make it happen. Your prayers matter. Pray. Ask the Lord to help open up this door. Let's bring this loved one, this lost one home. It's a reality check for all of us that what we do to these beautiful, beautiful creatures, these beautiful spiritual beings that sing beautiful songs to each other, that pass down lineages of time to their young ones from the time they're born. They know, they live it, they breathe it. And it's very, very real. If we don't make this happen, we're all going to answer for it. I really honestly believe that. Stop what we've been doing. Stop what's been happening. The desecration of family is very real. These ones here that died and laid down their lives here, don't let it be in vain. Don't let it be in vain. Once again, telling Jennifer here just a moment ago that our reward is not here on this side. What we do for one another in this walk of life, our reward is going to be over on the other side when our time comes to transfer over. So, make your voice count. Make that heartbeat that's beating in your heart today, make it count. Be of one heart and one mind. Pray. Ashka.
Thank you, Howard, for sharing that. And that was Doug James, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut from Lummi Nation speaking, and Joel James playing the flute.
Jewel James is the master carver of the House of Tears Carvers, who created the Toki totem and many other totems and beautiful works of art. And he certainly does play flute.
Yeah. Let me show some pictures from there.
Yeah, just from that event, just to sort of let you see. This is the Suva, which will be available this year also. The latter half of the event on August 6th. We'll talk more about that, but will be the Suva. And this is the Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut, which will also be available again. This is Captain John Stone's boat, and he brings it out for every event. There is Chief Sk'aliCh'elh and Nicholas D. Lewis on the right, and many other passengers on board to go out to the location where Toki was taken. That's the Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. Just a good look at that beautiful boat. Ketch, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a ketch. And there is Chief Sk'aliCh'elh telling a story, and I would love to hear that story. I'm not sure that it was recorded, but it may be. If we can find a recording of his stories, I would definitely want to replay that. This was about the orca story, the origin of the orca human. What's the word for that? Transcendence, transposition. And this was what you just saw on the video, actually, of Jewel playing. And this was the salmon ceremony, the offering of the salmon to the ocean, to the orcas, to the life of the sea, by giving them a slice of the salmon, giving back to the ocean the salmon on a cedar swig there, and floating away on a plank. It's a really beautiful ceremony, and it shows that we understand the need to nurture the oceans. There is Nicholas D. Lewis reading the resolution from the council saying that the Lummies recognize a sacred obligation to return their stolen relative from Miami back home.
I love that picture.
Yeah. It's no caption.
Thanks for sharing those with us, Howard. I had not seen that. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got them. I just sent them over to you in the last hour.
Yeah, I was like, I hadn't seen that before. They came in. We had 51 seconds to spare, folks, before the show started. We got those downloaded and loaded. So that was in 2017, you said.
Right. Right. And then 2018 was the totem journey to Miami that was so high impact on me and so many others, and Susan. It really, it just conveyed the strength and power of the spiritual depth of Lummi culture to Miami, and everybody went in that went in that spiritual realm with them, and it was so powerful.
That's awesome. So this year, and I'm not sure that we did a very smooth transition from talking about the process, but I think it's important
Right.
to remember where, people got involved and then the different aspects, and it's always important to me anyway, especially when we're talking about permitting and governments and the process and all this stuff, that we remember the cultural aspect of who she is, and that is guiding the rest of it. That is guiding the science. That is guiding the procedures and the process. To me, that's just it's always an important place to insert that conversation. And then when we're talking about the ancestors, to be able to show those photos of Chief Sk'aliCh'elh, knowing that he is guiding the process on the other side. So when you said, Howard, and I'm like, what the heck is this 2024, 2025 conversation? And you said, well, they don't know the ancestors.
Right.
That's why I wanted
Powerful forces.
That's why I wanted to show that at the time. So what do we have coming up, Howard? That was the ceremony August 8th in 2017.
Right. Well, that we can at least segue into the upcoming one next Sunday, August 6th, at Coupeville Wharf again, from 1:30 until 5:30. The first 2 hours will be gathering, giving thanks, ceremony. I'll say a few words. Sandra Pollard will come and say a few words and read from her books, a Puget Sound Orca in Captivity and Puget Sound Whales for Sale. And then the second 2 hours will be the boat trips. It's not a huge capacity, so probably about 25 people or so will be able to go on the two boats. And we're inviting anyone who has any other boat to come along and join the flotilla out to the actual capture site in Penn Cove, just to remember, to commemorate what happened out there, and so that it will never happen again, and to honor those who were lost there, because all but one died that were taken that day, and 4 were killed during that capture. So it was a scene of great trauma. So we're going to go out and commemorate that. And we'll do a waterside ceremony with, presentations of cedar and flowers, and we are hoping for Lummi participation in that to guide us in those ceremonies.
Thank you.
So, oh yeah, and of course we'll give whatever is new, whatever's the update, my coach is keeping me fresh with new things
Thank
to
you,
say here.
Susan. Thank you, Susan. Coach Susan from the sideline.
But of course, we will also, check in with you, Annette, and we'll get whatever is the latest news and keep everyone up to date. And if possible, we'll be live streaming on TokiTV throughout it all.
Yep. I wanted to let folks know at home. So Sunday might be a longer Sunday. So, order your lunch in or whatever. And Deborah has been volunteered and so graciously accepted after I had already told everyone she was going to do it. She's just so awesome. Love you, Deborah. Will be our camera person there. And so we'll still get started at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Hang out, see if there's any updates, chat a bit. And then when they get started, we'll live stream the talks. And I'm not sure if there's still room on a boat or not, or, Deborah and I haven't even talked about that. So we're talking about it live, but if she'd be willing to get on one, it's just a service conversation. I have no idea if there'll be service on the boat. But Deborah, we would love to pay your boat fee if there's a spot. So if you can check into that.
We'll make a spot.
Well, I should spot.
Perfect. All right. Well, then there you go.
Even if we don't have service on the boat, I can record the prayers over the water and we can share them the next Sunday. So because that's being out on that water is it's super, super, super emotional. It's really, really difficult to do, to put prayers in that place of trauma, but it's necessary. It's a necessary thing that we acknowledge what was done and acknowledge
Toki went through it.
what we're doing, right? Acknowledge what we're doing to fix that. And since we're doing all this live, Casey, if you could get me a Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut flag here before Sunday, if there's any way we could do that and maybe fly her true flag.
I can do that. Maybe.
We will make it so.
You said something really important, Deborah, because it is hard, and I feel the emotion from that. And anytime we think of or watch the footage or we see the pictures, it's devastating.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, you cannot heal what you cannot acknowledge.
Exactly.
And so it's important that we acknowledge what happened so that we can heal it. And also bless those waters for her return.
Exactly.
And just, do our part in ceremony and prayer, and gathering to do that, to be part of that healing process. So I'll say that again: you cannot heal what you cannot acknowledge. So although it's difficult,
it's something that we need to be done. That needs to be done. It's heavy spiritual work, but it's necessary.
Absolutely. I have a feeling someone's going to get on screen there.
My co-pilot is going to join us. This is Susan.
Yes, I'm sorry. I have a really bad cold, so
I'm glad you're with us, Susan.
Just that we're talking about this, so it really is this event. It always works out that whoever is supposed to be there will be there, and whatever happens will happen. And it is a very spiritually driven event and very emotional. And I remember the year when Sk'aliCh'elh was carrying her dead calf on her snout, and we weren't quite to the 17 days yet. It was like day 15 or something. Sure. And everyone was just despondent over that, as well as the anniversary of the captures. And I remember after the salmon ceremony, and we were all standing on the dock, and that year we all had our flowers, and everyone just spoke, and before putting our flowers in the water, and every single person was just crying, and for both the captures and for Toki and for her family and for Sk'aliCh'elh and her dead calf. And so it just really, it's like it's an event to heal the cove and the history and to keep the hope alive for Toki coming back. But it's also a way to heal us because we carry all that grief with us, and it brings us together to share that and to also share the hope and the inspiration and keep our strength up to keep going. And this year, every single year since 1998 was our first one. We always, next year, maybe we'll be celebrating Toki being home. And I just got chills when I said that because this year is the first time that I really feel like that could be a possibility. And, it's like, you never know what's going to happen in the next year or in the next month. So I really feel that it's going to be a special event, and it's there. I'm just so thankful for all of you, and every year, new people get involved, and we still have people out there in the audience now who've been involved for since 98 and or earlier, and it's just wonderful to see that, and I'm just so thankful, and I'm so thankful for the Lummies and everyone involved. But to me, you know the chief and Raynell and all the ancestors and that spiritual energy, I mean, it's always been really spiritual. I mean, Howie, and this is getting into the weeds, but we were just talking about when we met, we knew there was a reason we met, and we knew we were supposed to be together, and it was Toki. I mean, she brought us together, and we ended up together, and it was this, and it was why we are supposed to be together, and I still believe it to this day.
Well, our first meeting was at a meeting that Susan had held as part of Beach Watchers about the captures. In Harmony now.
Yeah.
It was Wally Funk, who was the photographer who documented the captures for the newspaper, and he was there doing a presentation about showing his photos, which are the lead off, some of which are the lead off to the start of TokiTV every week. And so I crashed her party.
Yeah, and I knew nothing about, I mean, their campaign had just started, right?
Yeah, we had just launched the campaign. Ken and the governor and secretary of state just launched it, and I just started a nonprofit. And our friend Fred Felleman said, there's a meeting about those captures and about, well, it wasn't really about Toki at that time because it was about the captures, about 1970. So at the end of the presentation, I stood up and said, and now for the rest of the story.
Well, Wally warned me. There's these people that's working about on this whale, and I was really just didn't know that much about any of it, or I mean, just kind of vaguely heard about the captures, and so it was all new to me. And then when I found out about Lolita and the story in this campaign, I'm like, okay, I'm in it. me, and got the Beach Watchers involved, and yep, you know the rest.
Yeah. Now everyone is a part of that force field, and working together, one heart, one mind, could never be more true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's just so cute to hear about you too. And I wish this platform had a way for me to put a little heart around you, but don't worry, I will make the video later and put little hearts up, because that's just absolutely beautiful. And we talk about all the time how oh yeah, you guys can put up your little hearts. I'm not very good at that. But there you go. Some of you are better at it than but it really this has brought all of us together. That's really sweet to know that that's how you two got together in the first place. One heart, one mind.
It was all about Toki.
Yep.
From the start.
It's all about Toki.
Well, there have been other items.
I want to check in because I just we talked about a lot. We talked about that ceremony. We talked about the ongoing ceremonies. We talked about the captures, and we talked about the news and the permitting. Ma, how are you? What do you think about all this?
Almost 3 days. Firstly, thanks, Helen, for all that really great information as always. Regarding the ESA and about her calls to her family, I think one of my points is that how can they acknowledge that but not acknowledge that she is actually a member of that endangered species? So doesn't it work both ways? They can't have one without the other. So for me, it's a little bit of a sort of a moot point, if you like, that they could consider that, they don't want her calls to entice her family towards her, but yet she's got as much right as they have. So how does that balance out, but as for the rest of it, I just know that Toki is teaching as always. This might take a little bit longer with those in authority because she's teaching them this is what they need to do. As we all know, that's what she does. That's how she works. She will, and the ancestors will teach them what they need to do. And therefore, as humans, as a human race, hopefully they will learn from it as well. And yeah, dreams are real without a shadow of a doubt, and we are all one heart, one mind. She's just brilliant. She is a miracle.
Yes, she really is.
Thank you. Deborah, anything you would like to say to wrap up our day?
Oh, this has been such a beautiful day. Anybody who prays, manifests, meditates, one heart, one mind. Keep your hearts big and open and wide, and that will help open the hearts and minds of the people to make these decisions. One heart, one mind.
Thanks, Deborah. Christina?
I have total faith in the ancestors and Raynell and everyone else that's working on all of this, that it's going to work out perfectly and it's going to work out at the perfect time. So I just hold that in my heart, and I know that's what's going to happen. And I'm just so happy to be witnessing it, and it's a miracle, and it's going to change a lot of things. It's going to change a lot of things, and this Salish Sea is the first thing that's going to start changing. The balance will be restored, or will begin to restore, and it's just all so beautiful, and I have so much love in my heart. So thank you all. I love you all, and I love you, Toki.
Thanks, Christina. Stephanie? Casey?
This has been, such a beautiful time. Howard, thank you again, because you and Susan are. But I was just telling Casey, geez, I wish we could come out there and be a part of this thing next weekend, but unfortunately we didn't win the lottery, you guys.
It's not for lack of us trying, though. We all tried as a group. Just saying.
But I also think everybody's right about this whole ceremony. I mean, I was just telling Casey, oh my God, if we were there, I would just be crying the whole time, honestly. And I will be crying on the show. So, we won't do makeup next weekend. But if any, Toki is Toki, and she's pure love. And we all have to have this whole, like you said, one mind, one heart. She brought us all together. We're going to bring her home. Ken's working from the other side. Chief Salik is working from the other side. Granny and Ruffles and all the whales who have passed are there too. And she's coming home. I agree with Howard. They don't know about the ancestors. She's coming home. And I'm thinking it's still going to be this year. I'm just saying 2023. So anyway, love to you all. Mwah.
Thanks. I was cracking up when he actually said the word miracle. Like 2023, that'd be a miracle. And I just hear Deborah, expect the miracle. Expect that miracle. And I'm like, well, it is going to be a miracle. How did he know? It's just perfect. Alejandro.
Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. The miracle. She is the miracle. All the people on site working for her 24/7, the vets, the trainer, the people who love her so much. So she feels this, she feels, we can watch it on the video, the speed laps, like it's amazing. She's very strong, she's a miracle. So I feel we will make it in 2023. That's my feeling. I don't know. So keep positive. This is the only process. Every information is in front of Toki.org, Sacred Sea, Orca Network, and WasteSanctuaryProject.org. So please, this is the only process. One mind, one heart. Thank you.
Thanks, Alejandro. And I'm trying to get the link here, Howard, that you sent me. But I do want to hear. I know Deb Cruz is quiet, but she's the wise and powerful Deb Cruz. So Deb, what you got to say for today? Anything you would like to share from the day?
Just a repeat of "Don't Stop Believing."
Awesome. Howard, Chris Kevorkian sent us a link, and I don't know that I have enough information on it. I'll say what
this will be a segue to a faraway place, but this is a investigative reporter who has been brought in to look at what is happening that is holding up the removal of the Snake River dams. What are the political, financial, what are the machinations going on behind the scenes? He is a very well-respected, highly experienced, and effective investigative reporter, and he's on the job. But he needs some funding. He's not, independently wealthy, and there's a lot of work and equipment involved in this. So there it is. That is the you have the link there in the comments. So if people could go there and just kind of read up on it, and if you want to help, that would be wonderful, because for Toki's family, we need those dams to come down, and so we need the truth to come out, and that's what this reporter will do. So
that's awesome.
Help, please do. So that's
cool. So the link's in the comments, guys, on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, because a lot of people are watching on YouTube, shoot me a messenger message, and I will get you that link directly. But I think that's super important. So yeah, thank you, Chris, for sending that to us to share with everyone else. Anything else you want to say about that, Howard?
That's it. That's all I've got.
I want to share a quick little tiny story, and I was trying to get her permission to show a picture, but I know they're probably in a service issue. But I got a message today about someone from Switzerland, and it says, "Thank you so much for answering. I love Toki so much. We came in from Switzerland to see her native waters." And they sent me a picture. They went to Lummi and took a picture with the totem pole. So Maya, I will say your first name, and that is it. But I didn't get permission to show her picture, but she sent me a picture of her and her family in front of the totem pole, coming all the way from Switzerland to be near and see her native waters. And that was really, really sweet. So Maya, if it's cool to show the picture, if you don't mind to just let me know that. People from all over the world. She is so loved. And, just a quick thank you to all the groups dedicated to her, Joe Phillips and Until Lolita is Home. And all the groups that Tim runs. Really just spreading awareness, spreading education, letting people know who she is all around the world. All of that at one heart, one mind, like we keep saying today. Absolutely a part of it. One last thing, and I'm kind of all over the place. Like my little segments are not flowing very good, but we're all showing off our t-shirts, and we can do that again. Everyone, go ahead and show off your t-shirt one more time. Susan needs a t-shirt. But I want to make something very important on this. So the Etsy, Casey, if you don't mind to share that in there. There's been some conversations about Friends of Toki, and they're asking for money, and they're selling things, and no, they're not. I just want to be super, super clear about that. That is not Friends of Toki. This is not Friends of Toki selling t-shirts. This is TokiTV raising funds that will go to and will be donated in whatever way is needed at the time. This is not Friends of Toki fundraising campaign, and I just think I need to be super clear about that, because I've seen some things on Facebook like, don't they have a millionaire? Why are they asking for money and donations? They're not. I just want to be really, really clear about that. So anything that has to do with us and our fun sharing of our cool shirts, but they're conversation starters, and if you happen to be drinking your cup of coffee at work, just saying, you can tell people what's going on, and having that, absolutely. So check out the shop. I just thought I needed to make that really clear, so that sometimes people hear half stuff or they assume stuff, and that is not that. So this is not a Friends of Toki fundraising thing. I just want to be super clear about this. TokiTV, this is Casey donating a whole lot of her personal time and talent to make these things so that they can get out there for cheap, so that people can have more and more conversations, because that's really what this is all about, is spreading awareness. So hands up to you, Casey. Thank you for all you do, and to everyone else. Alejandro, I'm going to close with you, and Howard, anything final you want to say?
Howard first. Yeah.
Oh no, I defer to you, Alejandro. I think I said
you are the
all I
professor. You are the professor. We don't want to start fighting here. No, you are the professor.
Class is over. You get the stage.
Okay, we are friends. No, just telling everyone, like you said, Annette, we are different. All the money just donated goes to Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. We don't have anything to do with Friends of Toki. I keep encouraging everybody to support this process. Be positive. Just if you have any doubt, just contact Annette. You can contact me, Howard. So just keep positive. This is the only process, okay, that will take Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut back home. And I hope, my feeling in 2023, and she is a miracle, plus all the people who love her so much. We are all the miracle. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. She's coming home, guys. We'll end with the video of Toki and Lee just kind of hanging out. This is something that was on the Friends of Toki website from a week and a half ago. But we'll go ahead and end with that, just so we can end with seeing her. Love you guys. We'll see you Thursday for our prayer and meditation time, and then we'll see you on Sunday. Deborah, again, thank you for being willing to be our live streamer, our news anchor for TokiTV. Love you guys. Have a good afternoon.
I was recently sent this video by the Friends of Toki staff down at the Miami Zoo Aquarium, and this just shows just kind of the impact that we've had of these animals over the last few months. We've been starting to work with them more and more together, and they're responding very well. This is outside of a training session. They're playing on their own, and it's fun to see. They both will initiate play behavior at times, and it's very good for these animals. Keeps them active, alert, and you can see they're responding very, very well.